sorry, did I?
All right, how you guys doing? Happy Wednesday night to you. Hopefully that the bearish candle didn't get you today. But this is the King of Bybit. Thank you for tuning in. My channel is about teaching technical analysis while bringing you the latest short-term and long-term trends and bringing you crypto and DApp news. I'm going to start out doing analysis on Bitcoin, Ethereum, and XRP, and our newly added coin, as it was the most requested one by our community, which is Tron. If you enjoyed today's stream, please help support my channel by hitting that like, hit that bell, and please subscribe. All right, let's get started. So Bitcoin here, as you can see, from our past streams, these were supports. We had supports at roughly the 12,002, 12,003 area, really depending on what your exchange is. And then we had our psychological 12,000 support. We double topped here. We don't really need a line to represent that. It's pretty obvious, but we had a double top here. And we bearishly engulfed. It's crazy talking about market cipher. We look at the indicator here. Look at that. Red X perfectly. We had the bearish indicator literally called the exact top. I wish I was awake for this when it happened. I was literally about 10 minutes too late, and I was really waiting to see how this 12,700 support held, but just didn't. But as you see, we got the indicator here, the short signal here, and there she went. And even on this bounce up here, look at that, we got another one. So I'm really curious to see how this holds up. And I was zooming out on the 4 hour, because as I talked about on some of my prior streams, I've been talking about this parabolic trend that we've been in, that we've literally been in since the beginning of the year. I'm going to zoom out to the daily. Just give me 1 second. And look at this. Literally started about December 17th. That's about where we hit our bottom, 16th, 17th December, which is quite funny because if you go back to the prior year, that's when futures started. Coincidence? I don't know. But started there. You can see how many times we touched this. We hit, pretty much went parabolic over the trend line, and we finally hit some resistance whenever the last run we had about 2-3 weeks ago when we hit 14,000 roughly, came back down, touched it, and look at this. 2 touch points, and we've respected it. I was really curious because, sometimes these parabolic lines, they're not accurate, but it's respecting it. And so it really makes me wonder, not only are we going to follow this path up, because if you follow this, it's putting us, by August, it's saying we're going to at least be at $15,000. So, this isn't financial advice. This is all just, my opinion. But I'm really curious, and I'm even more curious to see what happens if we break this line. What happens? Because we have not broken it since the beginning of the year. So what happens if we, even if we sit here and consolidate and go outside of it? I'm very curious to see what happens. But back onto the short-term time frames. Zoom out here. Kind of in this channel right now. We have a couple touch points. Started at about 11,000 area, and we bounced off of it. We got good 3-4 touch points. There's that parabolic trend. It's a little bit harder to see, but our first line of support is going to be roughly about that 11,600 area. We even had a wick down and we hit 11,550 actually. It's crazy. BitMEX is known for the crazy candles, so that's why on a lot of these candles, if you see how I do my lines, I won't touch the exact top. On certain instances, I'll go closer to the candle itself, just because BitMEX is known to go a little wild. Back onto Bitcoin, you're going to have your first support level, roughly 11,600. And these support levels that we used to have are now resistances. See where we came up on this bounce today and we respected it beautifully. So your first resistance line, you're going to have I put this line here just because it's your psychological 12,000. So, I don't want to put too much into this line, but for sure, your first resistance line is going to be roughly about 12,200. You can see where we have multiple touch points right here. And I know it's not perfect, but I would honestly go out and say, just because how it has been the last few days, it could be 12,200 to the 12,300 area. So those are going to be your resistances. You're going to have support at 11,600. Now, let's say we get really bearish and we start engulfing down. We break the parabolic trend line, break 11,600. Where are we going to go? Well, in my opinion, you're going to have your psychological 11,000. But our next area of support is going to be before we started running up a few days or a few weeks ago. Actually, I say a few weeks. It feels like it because we're in cryptocurrency. A few days feels like, weeks or months. But here we are. It's going to be about 10,800. And I have this in yellow as it's going to be literally, it's your warning. I mean, if this breaks, it could get very, very ugly. So just make sure you're not over leveraged. This isn't financial advice, but I'm basically just giving you, it's what I would tell my friends. You know what I mean? My family. Don't be over leveraged. Don't put yourself out there too much where you're overexposed. So you have your 10,800 support. Your short-term support's 11,600. And your first resistances are 12,000 and 12,200. All right, let's get on to ETH. All right, so ETH right now, we're basically touching our our warning line right now. So, I mean, we're not at it right now, but you can see where we have multiple touch points. If we go back, have some there, and you can see where these wicks are, and you could even maybe put some even a little bit farther down, because you can see where we have those two wicks, and there's this one right here. But I don't really want to make this too cluttered right now. So you could have a temporary support if this breaks at roughly 275. Slanted the wrong way. So you're going to have your support levels. Short-term one, your closest one, is at roughly about $280. Your next one, I'm sorry, you'll have your warning support will be at $280. Your short-term support, we're literally sitting right above it right now. It's going to be about that 283, 284 area. And you can see where we have these touch points. Those almost touched it. You have this clutter right here. You got those three touch points, almost this one right here. So 283, I feel fairly confident that's a support level. In your first resistance lines, they were support. You can see where we have these touch points. If you were to put this line, you can see the dots. You can see where it would touch if it was to extend further. But to sum up Ethereum, you're going to have your support lines at 283 in the 280 area. And honestly, if you zoom after that, your next support area is going to be roughly about $270. And then after that, it could get pretty scary. But it all depends on Bitcoin. And your resistance levels are going to be your 290 area, your 295 area, and then you'll have your psychological 300 support, which is right in here. And if we look at market cipher, we're still looking bearish. Let's go to the higher time. Yeah. If you look at this right here, your money flows look red. Now, Brendan, we're starting to curve up a little bit. But if we do this right here and we use our indicator, that's bearish. What you really want to see here is if you're trying to, I know everybody doesn't have market cipher, but let's say we start building on this candle, you'll start wanting to see it filling in here, going lower like this, where we'd be able to put a line like that. So until that starts happening, I'm just holding stay neutral, or at least I'm staying neutral. Alright, I'm gonna have to switch from BitMEX to Binance real quick. Hopefully you guys are enjoying the music. I'm trying to expand. I finally got off the YouTube audio library. I've upgraded the sound, and if there's anything you can recommend on the stream, just let me know. The stream is for you guys. I mean, I love doing it. It helps me out, but this is definitely to help you guys out. Alright. Oof. Oh, XRP. Alright, so as you can tell, we definitely broke our point, or I'm sorry, our 382. It held, you know, you can see how perfectly, I didn't draw a line, because I'm not sure how well you can see this, but if you follow the 382, we had multiple touch points there, this cluster here, another one right there. And we broke that. So, and we even broke our warning line right here. I mean, granted, I don't want to put too much sediment in this because there's only 2 touch points. I guess you could count 3. Seeing that those are clustered together, we'll just move on from that. So we zoom in closer to here. We're fighting it. We're fighting right below it. So my hope is, especially if you're holding XRP right now, maybe you'll be able to break above this, you know, consolidate a bit, and we'll make our next move up. But as I've been talking about, there's this down-sloping resistance that's just literally just been pushing us down. Every time we go and touch it, pushes us back down. And now, your 0.5 retracement is sitting right in that area right now. So you're also going to have another layer of resistance. So your targets for support, you have your, zoom in here, that'll be your 236. And that's roughly about, let's see here. It's roughly at about 34 cents. Now, if you, let's just say you get really bearish and we break 34, Bitcoin goes and tests 10,000, we break the parabolic, because as you should know by now, everything follows Bitcoin. Let's say the 382 break, or I'm sorry, the 236 breaks. You'll have your psychological 30 cent area, which if you follow my cursor, you can see right here. You have these touch points here, and these, you know what, I'm gonna draw a line just to help you guys out. I'm gonna make this red, or I'm sorry, green for us, just to represent that support line. So you're gonna have your support at, you know, your psychological 30 cent support at about 30 cents. And if we drop down, you can see that it's the 0, but it literally, it fits perfect. You see all these touch points here, here. You know, you got multiple of them. You can expect that at roughly about 29 cents. All right, just to close, we're gonna do Tron. Now, something interesting I noticed on Tron is the Bitcoin chart just looks miserable, but the USD Tether chart doesn't look so bad. So if, especially if these altcoins continue to bleed like this, I think I might start doing these coins versus Tether. As much as I don't like Tether, I like valuing my altcoins, so I like to build Bitcoin. I mean, I guess theoretically you could cash out your Tether and buy Bitcoin with it, but I really like valuing my coins versus Bitcoin. So, alright, so we respected our support level, which is roughly about 250 Satoshis. We bounced up, and this was our support. This was green the last few days, but we broke it. We went down. You can tell we're respecting it right now. Came back, and we're wicked just right under it right now. And that's going to be roughly about 270 Satoshis. And just like XRP, you have this down sloping, resistance line, basically just pushing its head down. Every single time we try to get to it, try to go above it, pushes us right back down. What's even more alarming about this, and I pointed this out multiple streams, we are in a major descending triangle. Ever since February, I mean, Tron is devalued by, what is that, 800 Satoshi? I mean, even if you count, wow, that's a triple top, it's 850. I mean, my goodness, we've almost devalued by 70%. That's incredible. It just shows you the strength of Bitcoin right now. People are cashing their alts out and they're putting it all into Bitcoin. And obviously you have Ethereum as well. So, on Tron, just to sum it up for you guys, you'll have your support line at 250 Satoshis. And as I pointed out the last couple streams, if you break 250 Satoshis, you're going to be in price discovery mode. It's going to be very, very hard to dictate. Wow, that just looks really bad. But it's going to be very hard to dictate where the bottom is because there's really no areas of consolidation through here. The moment Tron launched, beginning of 2018, it just took off. I mean, I guess you could. Let's move this. I guess if you really wanted to get close, you could say there'd be support here in this little cluster. But, there's just no consolidation. It just launched. Literally started at. Wow. I'm not sure what the ICO price of Tron was, but my goodness. 2,100 Satoshis? Incredible. So, you have support levels at 250 Satoshis. And your first resistance level is going to be roughly 270, with your more major resistance at roughly 310 Satoshis. So, I'm looking at... man, they're all looking like this. Even looking at Market Cipher right now. Okay, you know what? This is the daily. I'm going to go to the 4-hour. Hopefully you guys are enjoying the music. So I guess you could maybe say we were building this divergence whenever we started the bullish divergence, whenever we were moving up. But once again, we failed. And now we're starting bearish divergence. There's just nothing that's saying, you know, buy Tron right now. I mean, I know it's dirt cheap, but I mean, think about this. Since the beginning of the year, people have been trying to find Tron's bottom. They've been trying to find areas of value, and it just keeps falling. Be very interesting to see where it ends. But alright guys, that pretty much sums up the stream today. Thank you so much for watching, and if you enjoyed today's content, please hit that bell, leave a like, please subscribe. I'm really trying to build this community. I really enjoy putting this content out for you. I do this twice a day. I start my streams at about 10 in the morning, which would be 11 a.m. Eastern time, and then I have my nightly streams, which is 9 o'clock Eastern time. So, you know, just be careful with this tonight. You know, we're sitting at $12,000 roughly on Bitcoin, and I will be here in the morning to do my analysis on it. So thank you guys so much. And also, as a final reminder, once we hit 100 subscribers, I'm going to start doing live streams. Alright, thank you guys.